This program contains adult content.
Is there a God?
Big atheist.
Really?
What, am I an idiot? Come on.
That yes, it would be nice if you could throw your sins and your responsibilities on someone else. But it's not true.
It looks like far-left lunacy.
I don't believe that it's true that religion is moral or ethical.
You don't need to follow anybody!
It's not human intelligence!
If someone doesn't value logical consistency, what logical argument are you going to give them that will demonstrate that they should?
Hello and welcome to the Godless Rebelution. Today is Sunday, December 13th. This is episode 312. I'm Dan Ellis, and I'm joined on the long distance line by the two awesome co-hosts, Mr. Okay, that didn't go nearly as smooth as I was.
I thought we were going to Ryan first.
I know, I figured we were, but I wanted to fuck with
Ryan's fucking with us, yeah, of course.
Okay.
How are you doing, Mr. Duffy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I had a short break from work last week, so that was kind of my mental head fuck. And I realized the fire station is way busier during the week than it is on the weekend.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, we had stuff breaking.
What stuff did you have breaking?
Our ladder truck.
Oh, that's not a good thing. How does a ladder truck, what part of a ladder truck broke? Was it the ladder itself or
the coolant? The coolant. We were spraying coolant everywhere.
Oh.
So trying to figure that out. And of course, when the truck is overheating, you can't drive it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept going back and forth with mechanics, trying to troubleshoot. Where's it coming from? What's broke? They found one thing, fixed that, took it for a drive. Hey, guess what? We're still leaking coolant everywhere. So we finally got it fixed. And luckily we got it fixed on, what day was that? Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday now. And I was happy when, when 3 o'clock rolled around, we finally had everything fixed. I was like, fuck, we're going to have to take all the equipment back off the other truck and get this one back in service. And that's going to take a while. I have to do all this shit. He's like, yeah, we'll wait to put this back in service tomorrow. We're going to do a deep clean on it and everything. Then we'll put it back in service. And I was like, okay, because I'm not here tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys should.
A-okay with that.
You should do all of the maintenance tomorrow. Start it tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to argue with him on that one.
And so is it a typical thing that during the week it's much more busy?
There's just more stuff going on. So Dugway, the main base populace, is only there Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
They do a 4-day work week. They do 410s out there.
Uh-huh.
So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's really not a lot going on the base. So when I was working Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not a whole lot was going on.
Yeah.
Now it's back to people doing tests, people needing hot work permits, and just all the stuff that's not anything burning. It's just stuff that we got to deal with and take care of and help out with.
Yeah.
So,
well, fun. So you said you had a little break off of work?
I was only off 2 days. So I did a 3 on, 2 off, 3 on.
Oh, okay.
But it makes it feel like you never actually left.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what have you been up to, Matt?
Well, I had a debate for a while about whether or not I was going to talk about it, just because it's kind of feels awkward. But in the end, I decided if I was going to inspire anybody else, I'd have to talk about it. So, I took Rhett over to a condo complex the other day, and we just went and knocked on every door, and whoever answered, we gave them a random compliment and then moved on. And it was pretty interesting. Most people took it pretty well. Some people were a little awkward, but, so I've just been doing that. Like, I've started to stop people at stores and get out at red lights and approach cars and stuff. It's been kind of fun. but I mean, you don't have to be as crazy as me, but like, you know, if you get a chance, just say something nice to somebody. It's kind of fun.
So this is a thing that you're doing. So like what kind of compliments were you paying to people at the condo complex?
Well, I want to avoid anything that's like physical, you know?
Yeah.
So mostly it's like, you're awesome, or you matter, or you're important, or whatever. Things like that. You're valuable, you know, just that kind of stuff, and then move on.
And then people are giving you reactions of, who's this crazy person knocking on my door just to tell me I'm awesome?
Sort of. I mean, most people were pretty cool. A couple of people were a little puzzled, understandably.
Yeah.
But most people were pretty cool about it. But
I think a lot of people have a hard time taking compliments.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't impact them.
Yeah.
And you never know who that one person is that, you know, one small thing could turn their life around, you know?
Yeah.
So
that 15, 20 years from now, they'll look back on, man, that day that guy and his kid showed up and just told me that I'm cool and I'm awesome and I make a difference.
Yeah.
I'm important. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. So it's been kind of a neat experience.
And you've been doing this at stoplights as well?
Yeah. Red lights. Like if it turned, you know, if I have enough time, if it's going to turn green, I don't do it, but
yeah.
But that's where people are a little weirder.
Oh, I'm sure. like some guy. So I'm guessing that you do it to cars that are behind you.
Yeah. Or next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, do you get out and go and knock on their window?
Well, no, I sort of slowly approach waving, you know, I don't like get too close because I don't want to freak anybody out.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
But
well,
people take it pretty well usually.
And we have so many people here who carry weapons with them in their vehicles all the time that, you know, myself seeing somebody ahead of me in traffic at a stoplight get out of their vehicle and start approaching mine, I'm instantly going to be a little concerned as to what their intentions are.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten out and closed someone's gas cap for them.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
You're like, it's there. Your gas cap's off. You might not want it that way. I'm figuring. You probably didn't realize it, so let's give you a hand.
I always thought it would be cool to have some kind of like LED light display that you could hang in your window so that you could just broadcast messages to other people on the road. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, hey, something fell off of your car, or you know, there's something on the roof of your car, or there's something hanging off of your car, or you're a fucking idiot. You know, just like maybe incorporate like an Alexa or a Google Home or Mini or something where you could just say, you know, you could speak the phrase and then say, you know, put this text on display in the window, and then people would know. Like you see, you know, people whose loads are loose or who drop something, and so then you follow them around and you flash your lights, honk at them, like they don't know what the hell is going on or what you're trying to convey. But
yeah,
it'd be nice to have some way to more effectively communicate with somebody. Hey, this happened that you should be aware of. Yeah.
I have seen those. They're really small though.
Oh yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah. I've seen ones that are like small little like OLED type screens that you can attach in your back window, and you can pre-program it to say certain things. Like a lot of people would use them for saying like their sport teams, like go Pack Go or whatever. You know, it'll just kind of scroll across it. I don't know how many words or letters it was limited to, or how many pre-programmed things you could do in it, but it wasn't a thing where you could like, oh, I'm just going to type a message in and it'll say it right now. You had to be like pre-programmed, but
yeah, probably cycle through different messages and
yeah,
that would be interesting too. But and then I guess there would be all different kinds of things you could do with it. If it was always on, or you had to turn it on to just broadcast that message, and then, you'd need to plan that out a little bit. This would, I'm talking about something that would be just more on the fly. You could tell it what to communicate to other people around you.
I just want to put one in my front window that you would read in your rearview mirror that says, move the fuck over unless you're passing somebody.
Right.
I did see somebody one time with a license plate that was, what was it? It was like TI3VOM. And so when viewed on the front of their car from somebody's rearview mirror, it said, move it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was creative. A creative way to tell people to get the fuck out of the fast lane, man. Or the passing lane.
No shit.
Yeah. I've just been super busy with work this week. We lost one of our employees to a new and better position. I'm filling in for somebody else who's on vacation. And then, of course, the month of December is just a ton of people taking leave because they've got use it or lose it time and for the holidays and everything. So just backfilling those positions. It's been a lot, but it's fine. It's fine. I get to do it from home, so I can't complain. Well, I can, but I shouldn't probably. We've got some fun and exciting things to talk about, and we'll do that when we get back on the other side of this little break.
This is Nick Fish, president of American Atheists. You can learn more about our work at www.atheists.org, and you're listening to the Godless Rebelution.
Jesus on a stick.
Language.
What?
Keep a simple tongue, I'm saying.
Who the hot Christ are you?
You always take the Lord's name in vain with this much gusto.
It fucking ain't right.
Thank you to everybody who has rated the show on iTunes and Stitcher and are following us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And to all our Patreon patrons, you make the show possible.
And we're back. So there's been a ton of great news as far as antiviral vaccines for the coronavirus and COVID. And Ryan has dutifully looked up some articles and information to share about that because it's all moving so quickly and a ton of great news there. What you got?
Well, I got this one because, we make fun of religious people. But this is very expected. This is not unexpected that they would go ahead and say not to get vaccinated. And, you'll hear the reason why, and I'll be able to refute their own reason. But, California bishop urges Catholics to reject COVID-19 vaccine because of stem cells.
Oh, because they used aborted fetuses or non-viable fetuses in the production of this vaccine.
Well, that's what he thinks. This one goes on. This is also from Pathos, written by Michael Stone. He says, anti-science ignorance. California Bishop Joseph Brennan of the Diocese of Fresno is urging fellow Catholics to reject COVID-19 vaccines because he believes fetal stem cells were used in the development. According to the Los Angeles Times, citing ethical concerns about the use of fetal cells in vaccine developed, Bishop Joseph Brennan urged Catholics not to jump on the COVID-19 bandwagon. In a video shared by his diocese this week, Brennan said that some of the researchers racing to produce a coronavirus vaccine have made use of cells derived from an aborted fetus and perhaps other morally objectionable materials.
And
I wonder, like
plastic.
Yeah, what would be the other morally objectionable materials?
But Joseph Brennan goes on to say, I try to maintain a joyful spirit, so I don't like to rain on anyone's parade, but I'm going to rain on the parade today, the vaccine parade. I won't be able to take a vaccine, brothers and sisters, and I encourage you not to. If it was developed using materials from stem cells that were derived from a baby that was aborted, or materials that was cast off from artificial insemination of a human embryo, that's morally unacceptable for us.
Jesus Christ. The magisterium has spoken.
Yeah.
I like how he says materials that was cast off from artificial insemination of human embryos. Is he just straight up talking about semen? That semen was no good.
Material that was cast off from artificial insemination of a human embryo. I don't know. I don't think he knows what he's fucking talking about.
I don't know. Cast off.
But also, Joseph Strickland from the Catholic Diocese of Tyler, Texas, is also making similar warnings to Catholics. In a tweet, the bishop declared, Moderna vaccine is not morally produced. Unborn child died in abortions and their bodies were used as laboratory specimens. I use all who believe in the sanctity of life to reject the vaccine, which has been produced immorally. But, there's a catch to all this. None of that's true.
So he's just figuring that they must have, these crazy scientists must have, killed or used a killed baby in order to make this thing, and that's an abomination.
Yep.
So you're saying that somebody who dedicated their life to Catholic principles might not have a grasp on reality?
Yeah, or can't do a simple look to find out if it was actually true or not. Because according to the Associated Press, the facts are, as news continued to break around the results of the new COVID-19 vaccine, a widely shared video made false claims about the vaccine being developed through a partnership between the British pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca and Oxford University. The video, which has been viewed over 160,000 times, falsely claimed that it used an aborted fetus to create the vaccine. In the video, an unidentified woman shows the packaging from a box of AstraZeneca and Oxford's COVID-19 vaccine, urging people to share the video with anybody else that does not want to have an aborted fetus tissue fragments put into them. She then shows a preprint of a University of Bristol study that tested the vaccine on MRC5 cell lines. She explains that the cell line was originally developed from aborted fetuses. So, they tested the vaccine on stem cells that were from an aborted fetus a long time ago. And those cells that are in that test are no longer actually from that aborted fetus, because they used those cells from an aborted fetus in the fucking 70s to derive these new things. So it's basically lab made, but it's not in the vaccine.
This whole part of the tests. This whole thing is fucking ridiculous to me, and dangerous and stupid, and will just cost other people their lives because of their backward, stupid, ignorant beliefs. So I'm looking at this article from the LA Times, and it says in part that Brennan did not explain why he singled out Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for criticism. There's no indication that it was developed using either fetal cells or human embryonic stem cells. Not a single stage has had it, Pfizer spokesman Jerica Pitts said Thursday. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccine candidates are made with a snippet of the coronavirus's genetic code, and both are estimated to be roughly 95% effective. So he's just fucking wrong about all of it.
Making stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story that I've got here continues and says Brennan joins a growing chorus of Catholic organizations concerned about fetal cells and COVID-19 vaccines. In April, more than 20 Catholic leaders and prominent members of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops signed a letter to the Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration urging the federal government to follow moral principles in the development of a coronavirus vaccine. It is critically important that Americans have access to a vaccine that is produced ethically, they wrote. No American should be forced to choose between being vaccinated against this potentially deadly virus and violating his or her conscience. Says the Charlotte Lozier Institute, an anti-abortion organization, has flagged 5 COVID-19 vaccine candidates that were developed with the help of fetal cells. One of them, developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca, is in its late-stage testing, so is another developed by Johnson & Johnson. But both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are listed as ethically uncontroversial by the Institute. What?
Well, even the AstraZeneca one, so they're using what are called MRC5 cells, which I guess they're called immortalized cells. So these are cells that they can keep reproducing indefinitely.
Fucking vampire cells, man.
Pretty much. Yeah, they can keep reproducing that cell over and over and over again in a lab. Not like, oh, we need another aborted fetus to gather more cells from. No, this is a cell that they keep reproducing over and over and over and over again. Its origin did start with an aborted fetus in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But this cell that they're using is not from that aborted. It's like a long lost cousin.
Yeah, a long lost cousin from an aborted baby.
But yeah, I still wouldn't consider that to be using aborted fetus cells to make a vaccine.
Well, and the whole language around this, like them saying that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are ethically uncontroversial. The ethically controversial part of this is that they would deny this science and this vaccine to people because of their ancient fucking stupid ritualistic beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is what is ethically controversial.
Yeah.
Or should be anyway, that they would deny life-saving technology to these people because it might have cells from a fetus that they think makes baby Jesus cry.
Yeah. I guess the original fetal cells are called human embryonic kidney 293 Trex cells. And those cells were used in the development of cures for hepatitis, measles, and chickenpox. Motherfuckers.
Tracy and I have been watching, I mentioned the Magisterium because we've been finally watching his Dark Materials, the TV series that's out. And I remarked to her the other day that it was interesting to see, part of the premise of the show is that they can travel from one world or universe to other kind of parallel universes or worlds, and the
dark energy.
Yeah. And the main or primary universe that the protagonists all hail from, is ruled by this organization called the Magisterium. And it's a religious organization that is very much, it looks a lot like the Roman Catholic Church.
It's an analog to it, I guarantee.
Yeah. And it's interesting that, presumably the same amount of time has progressed in all of these different worlds or universes, but as they travel to other worlds and universes, it's very clear that the world or universe where the Magisterium rules everything is so technologically behind everybody else.
Oh, and it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're still using like airships and balloons and. Yeah.
And they don't have, they're allowing their religious beliefs to cloud and retard their development of other technologies because they may be heresy or blasphemy or go against what they are, the authority is what they refer to as, presumably their God is the authority. It would make the authority angry.
Well, I guess Sarah was reading something on it because we were watching it the other night. The writer of that, the guy that wrote the book, apparently is surprised that everyone hates Harry Potter, but not him yet, when his book was a direct attack on religion.
Oh yeah. Well, he's definitely an atheist.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, that's been all over the news and everything. So yeah, it's interesting that more people haven't come out against it. It is a pretty obvious attack against the backward idiocy of a lot of religious thinking.
Is it obvious? I was going to say, because maybe they just don't understand it.
That could be because, I had thought a lot. Yeah, I had thought that a lot more people were much more intelligent than they have clued us in, that they are lately. So.
That's where you go thinking again, Dan. You're giving people too much credit.
Well, there's that, but also from their perspective, if their whole life is surrounded in Catholic nonsense, they may not be able to easily recognize that that's a problem when they see it on TV. They may not even connect the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch the first season of The Cosmos when that one came out with a guy at work who was very Mormon. And I was surprised on how excited he was for the Cosmos series to be coming out again.
Yeah.
And I sat down and watched the first episode with him, and he's like, isn't God great? I'm like, I think you're missing the point of this.
Maybe
Like,
you need to just
injecting God into this whole show.
rewatch this again, because that's like God isn't discussed in this at all.
And when God is discussed, it's not in good light.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so weird to me. I had a friend, like 20 years ago or so, when I worked out at the airport. More than that, shit. It's like 25, almost 30 years now. Who I was a big fan of Tool at the time. And, I still am. I like Tool and Maynard and all that. Anyway, this guy, for one reason or another, was under the impression that Tool was like a Christian hard rock band. And I'm like, no, you have totally missed like everything about this band. And the lead singer, like, I have no idea how he came to this conclusion. It had to have been some motivated reasoning on his part, because he liked the music and wanted to feel like it was promoting God's message, I'm sure.
Yeah, Maynard is definitely not religious.
Yeah,
no, that guy has not listened to very many Tool songs.
Yeah,
yeah. It was just
like the whole song "Opiate" is all about stupid religion stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think it probably tied to something else that I've noticed or witnessed in a lot of different religious people and how they view the world and other religions. Like, here in Utah, growing up, I had a wide and fairly diverse group of friends, well, at least for Utah, where, I had friends of various ethnic and racial origins and religious beliefs and cultural upbringings. And it was like anytime I would say something bad about another group of people to which none of these people belong. Like, if I was sitting with a group of my friends who, were not religious or were Catholic or were, some other type of Protestant, that weren't Mormon, and I mentioned the Mormon church and how a lot of their beliefs were backward or ridiculous. Well, then everybody thought that was hilarious, and they'd all join in and oh yeah, those Mormons and their crazy beliefs, and they think Jesus and Satan were brothers. Oh my, that's crazy stuff. But then I start talking about some of the other crazy things that other religions believe, and they didn't like that very much.
Yeah. Imagine that.
It's like they couldn't apply the same logic to their own religion because it was precious and dear to them.
Yeah. No, that's how it works. That's why they're able to keep their faith.
Yeah.
Is they don't apply that to it.
And
my team's better than yours.
Yeah, well, and it was like they were all so excited to, live in Utah and find and recognize somebody else who also was not LDS. They were just, overjoyed at that prospect. But, then they come to find out that, oh no, it's not just that I think the LDS church is bullshit. I think they're all bullshit. And then it's like, wait a minute now. Don't throw the baby Jesus out with the bathwater.
Right.
Or the holy water.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you have more on this virus and stuff? Or
No, that's about it for that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but if you throw the baby Jesus in the bathwater, is that holy water?
Well, I guess the baby Jesus wouldn't have holes in his hands or feet yet, so maybe not.
So I was like, if the baby Jesus also pissed in the bathwater, which is now holy water, is he going to hell for pissing in the holy water?
No, because he's Jesus.
Okay. You just made it holier.
Well, he travels to hell at some point, right? Anyway, so.
Well, apparently, from the sound of everybody, his brother Satan is kicking his ass right now.
Well, because Satan's clearly much more powerful, and everybody needs to be really, really concerned about what's going on.
I mean, he won the election, so.
And we'll talk about that on the other side of this little break.
My name is Mandisa Thomas, and I am the founder and president of Black Nonbelievers Incorporated here in Atlanta, Georgia. You may find us at blacknonbelievers.org. You can also find me on Patreon at patreon.com /Mandisa Latifa. And you are listening to the Godless Rebelution.
You want a cup of coffee?
In my faith, we abstain from caffeinated beverages, both hot and cold.
In your...
There were 12 tribes of Israel. 10 were lost.
Lost who, what now?
10 were lost. 2 of those made their way across the sea to this great and sacred land, the Nephites and the Lamanites. Once here, the rebellious Lamanites were cursed by God with skin of blackness, so they would not be attractive to my people.
What are you, Nephites?
Mormons.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, criticisms, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrebelution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGR Podcast. Thank you!
So just before break, we were talking about we hinted at this next story that we'll be doing, where apparently a bunch of people on the right think Satan is more powerful than God. Maybe?
Yeah. Satan found that trump card.
Which seems weird for a bunch of, purported super Christian-y people to be so concerned about Satan's power, because their God is all powerful and Satan is just some lackey that God created, right? The whole, Satan, hell, and the relationship with God has always baffled me. We can talk about that more later. But this, so Ryan got this story, comes to us from Right Wing Watch, and the headline says, "My vote was stolen. Michelle Bachmann will never be a chump who accepts Biden's win." And the story says that David Barton, Tim Barton, and Rick Green of the religious right organization Wall Builders held a series of Barnstorm, Georgia rallies over the weekend that were aimed at mobilizing conservative Christian voters in the state to vote for Republican Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in the upcoming runoff election that will determine which party will control the U.S. Senate next term.
Yeah, because God loves people who scam others.
Well, yeah, apparently it's made Utah businesses thrive for sure.
Yeah.
All of the multi-level marketing stuff that we have here. Yeah. Among the guests who participated in person or via video in one or more of the various rallies were Republican Representative Barry Loudermilk of Georgia, right-wing
for quieter milk,
right-wing activists Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, and Kirk Cameron, and former Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. This is a who's who of nutbags. During a Friday,
God's warriors.
During a Friday night rally at Salem Baptist Church in Dalton, Georgia, Bachmann declared that she would never be a chump who accepts that Joe Biden won the election, screaming that Satan is destroying our election and that my vote was stolen. We actually
can hear it in her whiny voice.
We actually have some audio from that we'll play now.
Oh, yay.
From the political point of view, from the legal point of view, from the moral point of view, America is not on board with Joe Biden as the next president of the United States.
So what America is she talking about? Because Joe Biden won basically in a landslide.
Well, she's talking about the America that voted legally. Dan.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they consider Democrats to be Americans.
No, probably not. Especially not us atheists.
And I think that's a huge problem, really. When
it is, yeah.
It's like I don't consider conservative Christians great people necessarily, but I still know that they're Americans. I still know
that their votes count whichever way they go.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, regardless of their misguided actions, that they oftentimes or most of the time or all the time think that they are doing the right thing. They're just ignorant about it and going about it in the wrong way. But I don't for a second question whether or not they are actually Americans.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of horrible people in history who thought they were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We're not there. And the reason why we're not there is because we're not that dumb in the United States.
I think it's funny that even the audience was laughing at that.
Yeah.
She says we're not that dumb in the United States. Well, some of us aren't, but I wouldn't, include the people on stage with her in that portion.
Yeah, not only that, but there are numerous bits of information and studies out there that definitely show that American education is not that great in terms of what the Western world.
So what you're saying is our country is dumb as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't disagree.
Because we know without a shadow of a doubt, this man did not get the votes on election night.
Without a shadow of a doubt, huh?
So,
man, how can they go around being so certain of everything?
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. Like, what evidence does she have that would support her assertions here?
Well, I've heard a lot of them say this. Any ballot that was counted after election night, they don't count as being valid ballots because it wasn't counted that night.
Well, that's just nonsense. That's not how that works at all.
It isn't how it works. And that's what they don't understand the process on how it works.
Imagine that.
And they can't understand how more Democrats did mail-in voting than in-person voting. They think the numbers should be this, like, well, how come the in-person and this, how come they're so drastically different? It's like, because people voted in drastically different manners.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's
not hard to figure out.
It's not as if any election we've ever had, we had all of the votes counted on election night.
No,
I mean, today is the 20 fucking year anniversary of Al Gore recognizing the Supreme Court's decision to hand the election to George Bush. Today is 20 years ago that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just, it fucking baffles me. Are their memories that short or that selective that they just disregard whatever history is inconvenient for the narrative that they've chosen?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I also find it, so that lawsuit they brought up was mainly about the mail-in voting. Because they changed it. They didn't have it before. They did it now because of COVID. And then we have our Utah's Attorney General, Sean Reyes, joining in the lawsuit.
What a crooked...
When that's how this state votes primarily.
Reyes is a real son of a bitch, too. What a dumb fucker that guy is. Jesus.
Let's go on to this dumb fucker.
All right.
Didn't happen. Donald Trump got the votes on election night. So why would we be like drones, chumps, and fools to go along with this?
Because you'd be just following the path that you've laid down for decades now. That you are proving yourselves to be chumps and sheep and idiots.
When the clock was striking 11:59 and 59 seconds on the 400th anniversary of this gift of God to the world, this idea of voting for the people and the laws that you live under that we take for granted, that's exactly when Satan was snatching away from America, ruled by the consent of the governed. In other words, stealing from us our right to vote.
So Satan stole the election, is what she's saying. That's the evidence that she has, or the declaration she's making about how the vote was stolen by Satan in favor of Joe Biden.
Because, I mean, I saw it. I saw Satan open the hatch to his subterranean lair, however you say that.
Subterranean?
Yeah. Just briefcases full of Biden votes. And he went to Pennsylvania and Georgia and all the other swing states and handed those briefcases full of Biden votes to them to count.
In his subterranean lair?
Yeah.
That horny bastard.
He lives in a fish tank now. Or under it. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
I think a fish tank is an aquarium.
Well, it's a terrarium. Well, it's a fish tank if you don't put water in it and you just put stuff to grow in it. Isn't that a terrarium? I don't know.
A terrarium. So you're doing a portmanteau of subterranean and terrarium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I fucked up.
Subterrarium.
Oh, I need to eat some food.
So, if I were sitting in the audience and I heard Michelle Bachmann say that Satan stole the election in favor of Joe Biden, I guess my question for her would be, where was your God?
IHOP.
What the fuck was your bearded sky wizard doing while this was going on, you fucking idiot?
Yeah.
Jesus
and why does
Christ.
he make you do all the work?
Yeah. Why does he have you, Michelle Bachmann, you fucking moron, on stage with cheering, adoring, idiot, moronic people in the crowd? Why did your God allow all of this to happen? Was it just so that you could get up on stage and make a bigger ass of yourself? Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Well, it's probably also best to point out, even though we can't see the audience, I guarantee none of them are wearing masks.
Oh.
Well, the people on stage certainly aren't.
Nope, and they're not socially distanced. Well, the guy in the far left is kind of socially. He's close to 6 feet apart.
Well, that's because he's on the far left.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a little bit left in this video.
I am highly offended, insulted, angry, and I'm not going to stand for the fact that my vote was stolen.
Fucking snowflake.
This is dangerous stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's really fucking dangerous stuff. It's dangerous to hear Republican leaders and leaders on the right basically fomenting discontent through their gullible, ignorant rube base of support.
Yeah.
That's why I said,
and she knows goddamn well that that's not the way it went, because that Trump got the votes and Biden didn't. She knows that's not true.
You would think so. I mean,
I would hope.
It's hard for me to know what she really does think. I mean, I imagine that she's experiencing a bunch of cognitive dissonance because prior to the election actually happening and the votes being counted, she was guaranteeing a win for Donald Trump, that God had spoken to her directly and told her that Donald Trump was going to win re-election. And so if she believes that God Almighty spoke directly to her and told her that Donald Trump was going to win, and then she sees what's going on in the world around her and that the world is, has decided to give this election to Joe Biden, well, then certainly it could only have happened through Satan's influence and power. But again, where was your God?
I told you, IHOP. It was midnight. Got to get them late night snackies on.
Why would your God allow this to happen? Was he taking a fucking nap? Is he weaker than Satan? What the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
How do you justify what you've just said? How do you square that with your belief that your God is more powerful than Satan and he will always work to protect you?
And he told her that Trump was going to be president.
Yeah. How does that fucking work out?
What happened there?
So many people on the right were making predictions and saying that God spoke to them and that Donald Trump would win re-election. And they've all been proven wrong.
Well, they've all used the Satan cop-out.
Well, maybe God's just a liar.
Trickster God.
Yeah.
But none of them would agree that their God is a trickster God. So again,
of course.
Where was he? Like what I just don't understand how they can do that. And I don't know why nobody in the audience has even thought about that. Like it seems to be, or to me, would be like the most elemental question of, well, if God guaranteed this was going to happen, then why didn't it fucking happen? And where did God go?
Yeah, it should have been a no-brainer. Like that should have just been right into the White House for Trump if God says.
Yeah. there would be no need for praying about it. There would be no need to have people doing their fucking stupid Trump train rallies all over the goddamn place. It would be a lock. It would be guaranteed. God's got this. He's got you covered. You're bathed in his blood.
Yeah.
But
they're hypocrites.
They're
Just
hypocrites.
like their Trump train rallies when they say, "How dare Antifa and Black Lives Matter block traffic?"
Yeah.
Right.
And you're doing what? Oh, you have the right to do that, but no one else does.
I don't know. Like, they all, these Christian people all say that they have this strong and abiding faith in their Lord and Savior Jesus and his daddy who's up in the sky protecting all of us and making sure everything's right, and his dad who created the entire fucking universe can't apparently stop one of his own creations from mucking things up. What kind of stupid fucking God is that?
Mm-hmm. And what is he good for?
I don't fucking get it. I don't understand how they can say some of the stupid shit they do and not for even a second think about it and question, oh, well, this is what God told me what would happen. So now what's going on here? Well, Satan's influencing it. Well, then Satan's more powerful than God, right? Well, no, that can't be the case. Well, then this is part of God's plan. So I need to sit down and shut the fuck up. But I don't want to do that because I'm God's warrior.
It is truly baffling.
Like, they have to live their entire lives in this weird state of schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Where they don't really know what to believe or who to trust. And so they turn to authoritarians like Donald Trump or their religious leader. Like, somebody who has to tell them what to do because otherwise they don't know what to do.
Yeah. They're children.
It's just baffling to me. Baffling and maddening. Like, it drives me fucking nuts. The last story we have tonight today. It's not even, it's just barely noon here. So I was interested to see this headline that Jerry Falwell Jr. had dropped his lawsuit against Liberty University.
Oh, yeah.
For those who don't know, Jerry Falwell Jerry Falwell Jr. is, of course, junior to senior Jerry Falwell, who started Liberty University. He was an evangelical pastor who, started this university for religious people to give him lots of money and to give them a terrible education where they don't really learn a whole lot, but become God warriors to go out into the world and do their best to prop up and support the Lord, which is, again, a weird thing for me. Like, why would an all-powerful being need anybody to do anything for him ever?
Right.
But Jerry Falwell Jr. he didn't really lead a very religious life for most of his life. No. It wasn't until his adulthood where he inherited basically the responsibilities and role his father had laid out for him to be part of Liberty University. So he has kind of a checkered past and recently, came under fire for posting pictures of himself with another woman who was not his wife on a yacht, both of them bearing their midriffs and their pants undone while he was holding a glass of what looked to be some type of alcohol, but baby's blood. He later said I think he just said it was juice or some shit like that. I don't know.
That's what my mom said.
He pulled the Michael Jackson and said it was Jesus juice or something. I don't know. But then it also came to light that his wife has had several ongoing affairs with pool boys where they've gone on vacation and have taken these pool boys on vacation with them and have helped them start businesses, have given them money. It has been rumored, by these people that Jerry Falwell Jr.'s wife, Becky, has had these affairs with, that, Jerry Falwell likes to be cuck, basically. He likes to be he likes to watch other people have sex with his wife. That's how he gets off, apparently. And of course, he and his wife have denied these allegations, sworn up and down that they were untrue. And while all of this has been going on, Liberty University, the other leaders on the board there decided, well, maybe you should not be affiliated with our school anymore. So they gave him a nice severance package and told him, fuck off now. and he decided that he would not fuck off. He would not go quietly into that night. So the story says that Jerry Falwell Jr. has dropped a defamation lawsuit he filed in October against Liberty University, just months after he resigned in August as president of the Christian school following a series of personal scandals, Falwell and a university spokesman confirmed on Wednesday. In his lawsuit, Falwell alleged that Liberty University had damaged his reputation because it accepted without verifying what he called false statements made by a man who had an affair with Falwell's wife and attempted to extort them. Quote, I've decided to take a time out from my litigation against Liberty University, but I will continue to keep all options on the table for an appropriate resolution to the matter, Falwell said in a statement. In a statement, the school said its leaders are pleased he has dropped the lawsuit and is working to find someone to succeed him. Quote, Falwell's unilateral and voluntary dismissal was not promoted by any payments, promises, or other consideration from Liberty, the school said. Attorneys for Falwell on Wednesday notified the Lynchburg Circuit Court that he would not pursue his claim, but did not state a reason for withdrawal. Falwell's endorsement of Donald Trump's presidential campaign in 2016 was seen as a crucial moment for the candidate who won over a high percentage of evangelicals in his election. Liberty has long been a center of power for conservative Christians, and Falwell's resignation in August rocked the evangelical world after a series of personal scandals. So, yeah, it's been very interesting.
So he probably discovered that day when having litigation, you get to have a finding.
Yeah.
You get to see all the evidence, and he probably saw the evidence and was like, oh.
Yeah,
I'm fucked.
So I imagine, so when he first filed this lawsuit, I made a post on Facebook and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be awesome, because I don't think he has any idea how this is going to go down and all of the wonderful things that will come out of the discovery process through him filing this lawsuit. Like, he's basically just fucked himself by filing this lawsuit if he continues with it. So when I saw that he had dropped it, I figured, yeah, he probably finally realized, or had somebody explain to him that if he proceeds with this lawsuit, there will be a ton of evidence unearthed and validated by a legal system here in the United States that will definitively show that no, Liberty University did not dismiss him based on wild allegations. Here's the evidence for those allegations.
Maybe his lawyer brought him the discovery and said, do you really want to continue with this?
Yeah, I think somebody finally, told him, hey man, this is a really bad idea and you should stop, because
unless you want everybody to see this, we need to stop.
You kind of made out like a bandit with a bunch of money, and you can just fuck off and go and live your life. If you continue down this road, all of this shady shit you've been doing or your family's been doing is going to come to light, and then you'll lose everything. So best that you just fuck off into the sunset.
A $10.5 million severance?
Yep. The story says that when he resigned in August, Falwell told the Post that his contract entitled him to a $10.5 million severance package.
You know how many pools you can build for that to have pool boys to clean?
A lot. But how much of that is he going to share?
None.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest lessons I've learned with this whole COVID thing is, where are the billionaires? Where's the trickle down? If it's going to work at any moment, it should be now. But yet,
no,
nothing from them. Nothing.
Oh no. And the money just keeps flowing more and more to the top.
To them. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like there was a local story about a restaurant that was loved in a community that's having to close down. And the guy said that underneath the PPP loan or PP loan, not a PP loan. That sounds bad. That his business only got $3,000. He's like, that doesn't even keep us afloat for a month.
Yeah.
Dude,
you have like the Jazz basketball team got a few million.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, why are big billion-dollar corporations getting millions of dollars, and the mom and pop places that literally live month to month are like, here's $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. Like, I think that probably within our lifetime, we'll see the world's first trillionaire.
Yeah. If things don't turn around, yeah.
Which
is it going to be that guy right there, Mr. Bezos?
I think it could be. He's well on his way to becoming the world's first trillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think billionaires should exist.
No, of course not.
Like if you have more than
immoral, period.
Yeah, if you have more than $1,000 million, if you have multiples of thousands of millions of dollars, you're fucking. What the fuck are you doing? How are you helping humanity with that? What are you doing with that hoard of gold you've sat your ass on?
Yeah. Meanwhile, kids are starving. There's homeless people in this country. Public school teachers, 94% of them are paying for school supplies out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
Kids at school don't get to eat if they're out of school sometimes. All that's going on, and these guys are hoarding billions.
Yeah.
And not paying taxes. They're removing it from the economy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, like you said, it's not even flowing back into the economy. They're just accumulating all of this wealth and doing fucking nothing with it.
Fuck all. Yeah.
Like they have so much wealth. They have more wealth than several countries combined.
Yeah.
They could buy several countries.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's very distressing and upsetting, and like what kind of piece of shit just sits on that much fucking money? And how much is enough? Why do you ever need that much?
No, yeah. And they know that you're never going to spend it all.
Yeah.
So what are they doing?
Yeah. I always bring this one up. Why do we give these multi-billion-dollar corporations all these tax breaks all the fucking time? Like, well, we want them to come here to create jobs.
Well, it's supposed to trickle down.
Not paying taxes. Like, you're giving that corporation a free fucking ride here. How much are you losing out from those fucking taxes to the state?
Yeah, and then how much is your state having to make up for those taxes that the companies aren't paying? So then you're charging your citizens more to pay for the services for the citizens because the companies aren't paying for it.
Right. And a majority of those jobs that they're giving are so low fucking paying that those people are on government welfare.
Right. Yeah. So then they're sucking more out of them, more money out of the government.
Or they just lay thousands of people off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking disgusting, man. I don't know how they can live with it. Like, I have a hard time knowing that I don't really have to worry about paying for my regular bills. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like I make enough money that, like, just paying for my mortgage and utilities and stuff like that isn't really a concern for me. I can go and buy groceries. And I know that for so many people, that's not the case right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have some guilt about that because I am fortunate enough that that is not a concern that I have to share with those people. And just the thought of that going on while this fucker has hundreds of billions of dollars is disgusting.
See, now, I've always liked, I want to say it was Sweden or Denmark that did the 12% rule. The highest paid person in a company is not allowed to make more than 12 times what the lowest paid person in that company is.
Which I think is perfectly reasonable. Yeah. Yeah.
But here's like, oh, look at that. Jeff Bezos is probably making 500,000 times more than the lowest paid person in that company.
Yeah. It's just.
And that's also not saying the company can't make money. It's saying that the money, there has to be a good distribution of the pay throughout the company.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to make a lot of changes, a lot of systemic changes here in the U.S. or
Big
we will
sweeping changes. Yeah.
Or we're like the path we're on now is unsustainable. It
is absolutely.
It cannot hold up for much longer.
The middle class will be completely wiped out. There'll be no chance for anyone born poor to ever make enough money to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when someone said it a few elections ago, oh yeah, the middle class is doing good. Those that make over 200,000 a year. I'm like, that's middle class. I'm like, I thought I was middle class. Apparently I'm fucking dirt poor. I don't make anywhere near 200,000 a year.
There's probably a millionaire or billionaire who said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The middle class making 200,000. Jesus fucking Christ.
Like, no, I think the middle class is probably making closer to 40,000.
Yeah. Well, we have run out of time for today's episode. Thank you both very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure speaking with you fine gentlemen.
Indeed it has.
Before we go, though, I want to make sure that we thank our Patreon supporters. And I'm going to have to get my little document up here because I forgot to do that ahead of saying any of this stuff. And now I got
mine up.
Now I'm just issuing a stream of audio to help fill in time while I do that. So I want to make sure that we thank our Patreon supporters. That would be Alan Firth,
Christy Kalbach,
Gay Atheist,
Stephen Andrus,
Two Skeptical Chaps,
Vanessa,
Don't Be a Richard,
Ollie Olson,
John McCullough,
Tiffany Hudson,
Sinead Duffy,
Utah Outcasts,
Wesley Aaron,
Andrew Vodopich,
Jeremy Goodson,
Let Them Eat Kofefe,
Jeff Peterson,
Corey Ebert,
Megan Mitchell,
Freethinker 215,
Tim Jacobson,
Janet Uter,
Savita Kuna,
Taylor Grin,
Purple Dragon,
Nico Gonzalez.
I can't read that one.
Chad Pryor.
I just had to zoom in. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. And Itchy and Scratchy want you to please support the Secular Coalition for America and Camp Quest.
Woohoo!
If you, fine listener, would like to become a Patreon supporter, you can do so very easily by going to patreon.com/GodlessRebelution, where you can contribute as little as $1 per episode. And we would appreciate that ever so much. You can also send us money through PayPal using our email address of godlessrebelution@gmail.com. And we would greatly appreciate if you could do that as well. If you cannot do either of those things, that's fine. If it's a stress for you at all, then don't do it. But what we would like you to do instead is share the show with people. Post a review of the show somewhere. Share episodes of the show. Talk about it with your friends. Send us information. Send us stories and headlines and what you would like us to talk about and stuff like that. We received some feedback this week that I forgot to talk about on this episode. We'll have to do that on the next episode. But I love hearing from our listeners, and that's always a lot of fun. I'm sometimes really bad about replying or addressing the feedback that we get. I need to get better at that. So I will work on that. And so until next time, crucify those subterranean satanic forces at work.
Now you're going to hate this one, Dan. If you're so inclined, leave us a review and be kind to others.
Oh.
And rate the show 5 times a day toward Mecca. You stole mine, Dan.
Oh, did I? Sorry. I made note while we were talking that like I would have to use the word subterranean.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, thank you both very much, man. This has been a lot of fun. You ready to do that now?
You know what? I was fucking not born ready, but I am.
I don't know if I told you guys this, but it's definitely off track, but it's kind of funny. For some reason, Rhett thinks the sound of tasting something gross is hilarious. So like if you put something in your mouth and you go, ugh, like that, he thinks that is the funniest thing alive. So Danielle's pregnant, so she has morning sickness sometimes.
Right.
And so she'll throw up. He thinks that is the funniest thing ever. He laughed so hard the other day, he pooped in the tub.
Well, she's there in pain, vomiting, and he's
yeah. Every time he hears her go in there, he's got to run to the bathroom and get right up next to her and just laugh in her face, basically.
Why is that?
I try to keep him out of there, but he won't.
That's just kind of funny in a horrible way.
Why would you deny him that joy?
Yeah. He has no idea what's going on, really. It's just his.
That's like something that would be scripted on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Laughing at someone else's pain.
Right.
And them not getting why it's not funny.
She's good. She's good about it, but it's a weird situation.
That's really
Does
funny.
It make her laugh vomit?
I think she's pretty focused in those moments, but